Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! If you got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Watch and listen between two beers.
Hello, love wrestling. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. And you all know what that means.
Or you better know by now. It's episode 235 of this thing.
I guarantee you there's like an 85% chance that's not an accurate number.
There were some weeks there where I was like, I'm not sure, but I think, because I know that there's one where I think we got the numbers reversed, but we're going to stick with the 235, but we're going to say that if you're not familiar with what it means, JPJ, you tell them what it means.
It means that it's another new episode of Between Two Beards. And we got a good one tonight. We got our pal Dan Brown chilling in the back. We're going to bring him on in just a few minutes here. Mm-hmm. He's got a brand new comedy album coming out tomorrow we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about wrestling. He's a big-time wrestling fan. He's usually in the chat every week, humming it up and chatting it up. And so we were like, hey, man, you got an album coming out tomorrow. We want to hear about that. We'll chat some wrestling. We'll have a good time. So Dan's going to be popping on here in a minute or two, and we're going to get after it.
And I have a new obsession in life.
You have a new obsession in life?
Yeah. So college basketball started this week.
Oh, yeah.
And in college basketball, if you're unfamiliar with college basketball, JPJ, the first 3 weeks of the season, nobody plays anybody. And right. I mean, by anybody, I mean they literally play teams that you've never heard of and you would never think of. And I like to go on to ESPN.com when those teams are playing and research said Division III School of Biblical Studies or Institute of Technology, and then try to find the bright spots in it. Some of these people, I got to be honest, if you're going to play Kansas, if you're going to play Duke, if you're going to play Kentucky, step your social media game up. That's your time to shine, especially in Pluggo's world. Because I will go to that social media and I'll follow you and I will tweet about your game. If you had a up-to-date social media, I'd do it. But sadly, nobody's on top of their social media game in the Division III basketball ranks. But anyway,
I was gonna say what? I was gonna be like, don't you want them to up their game before they lose by 60?
Because that's when the most people are gonna go, who the hell is Bethesda College? And you're just like, let me go do the search because I'm watching them get destroyed. Did you see that game the other night? That women's basketball game? Julian Newman's dad coaches it. They had 5 players. And the whole team? They were down 72-0 at halftime.
Why would you continue the game?
That's that. We need a mercy rule. Well, we got call-up sports.
Why would if that's the score?
Yeah,
I understand pride. I understand all of it. You got to sit there and you go, all right, that's it, right? They beat us.
That's what I want to know. Like, what benefits did we have by keeping
I would go to the other coach and I would go, hey, off the tip, let us get a layup. We'll forfeit right after that. That's it. Just let us get a layup so we don't get shut out. And then we'll go from there.
They had one girl on the team just chucking threes. She took 17 threes, made a couple in the second half. But I digress. I could talk about low-end college basketball forever. Culp Sports Corners in the house saying the GOAT's a Thursday night. Fernando saying what's up. He's calling it out. OKC is repeating. That's not a very thick limb you're on there.
I was going to say.
Before we bring Dan on, let's do that housekeeping. That you see that little thing at the bottom corner there that says Big Bad Boris is 40 hours. Extreme. I got a show with Mrs. Pluggo during that. She's going to challenge Mrs. Boris. But it's a 40-hour stream over November 14th and 15th. And if you want to donate, you got to donate right there. But also anything on the Twitch side. So if you're on Twitch and you're watching us now, everything, bits, subs, all that's going to Big Bad Boris.
Yep. And then tonight, or any of our shows here on YouTube, any super chats, anything like that, will be going also right towards the donation of the stream for Big Bad Boris. Yeah. So 40-hour stream he's doing.
And that goes for all shows on Love Wrestling. So for the next week, anything that you donate anywhere, the quickest and easiest way is through the QR code there. But if you want to super chat it because you don't know how to use QR codes, because believe me, they're a pain in the butt sometimes. Ours aren't, but some are. Donate it here. Should we let him on? He said that Dan Brown says that Dan Brown is really dreamy.
Okay.
And we agree.
I don't disagree.
What's going on, fellas?
There he is.
What is going on? So you guys said two things. I can't let this go too far before we go. So there was one college game that went 72-0, correct?
By halftime.
So kind of agree with both of you. This is a more serious take. When something like that happens, you need to actually put in, I don't know if it's a mercy rule, but you need to actually, like, the referee needs to call the game because now you're actually risking people's health at a certain point.
Well, and
it's not just people sucking. It's a serious issue.
On top of it, I didn't even dive super, super far into this because I went down a rabbit hole with this. The team they were on a back-to-back. This girls' basketball team was on a back-to-back. Apparently a stomach flu ravaged most of the team and coaches. So they showed up with 5 players and 1 coach, and those girls played the full 40. But I didn't see any videos or anything, but rumor has it that even one of the girls, they played some of the game with just 4.
That's insane.
But she had to be on the court because they were, it was
she's just on the baseline with a bucket.
Just chilling.
Wow. It's sick.
But and of course it's Julian Newman's dad. And if you're familiar with Julian Newman at all, you know what a weirdo that guy is. If he hears this, he'll probably come after me, but that's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
So then you said something else, and I got to correct you. You said this is episode 235, JPJ. You said there's an 80% chance that count is off. Yeah. I checked Dave Meltzer's reporting. He said it's only 176.
Okay.
So you guys are...
We're
WWE attendance thing.
Are we Goldberg? Are we Goldberging our numbers?
Listen, you got to inflate the numbers, man. You got to inflate the numbers.
Fun fact.
What's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? Some girls' podcast is going to come through and just blow right past your guys' streak.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Fun fact: Between Two Beards actually started like a month ago. We're at episode 235.
Just doing those.
That's how good we
podcasts.
Yeah, that's right. We're just on that house show loop, baby. But Dan, welcome in, buddy. We're super psyched to have you back. You're always welcome here, and we're definitely going to dive into that album here in a little bit. But what do you want us to talk some wrestling? Did you watch Saturday night's main event this week?
I watched Saturday night's main event on Sunday, so
that's fair.
Yeah, I had a show, so have to do what I got to do. Got to make my money.
That's fair.
Maybe I could be Big Money Dan Brown. Probably not. That doesn't make sense. I'm wearing a Menor Youth Hockey Team jersey. I'm wearing some cheapo glasses. I'm wearing a hat that I bought for $10. It's so maybe I'm cheap money, Dan.
This hat, $10. Cheapo glasses. I think we're in the same. Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
So this hoodie was a Christmas gift, so I guess it's cheap too.
There we go.
I only wear the finest apparel, so this was.
See that? Yeah, JPJ's Dapper's book.
These are
JPJ,
Oakleys. These are Oakleys. Get on my
you
level.
Are
boys.
a dapper. You are a dapper looking
know?
man. You are a good looking man. Everything your ensemble just fits, and I've always loved it, man.
Green. You know, I try to.
And I gotta say too, I really miss watching you and Drew on Firmly. That was something that always helped on Tuesday and Thursdays.
Yeah. I miss Drew too.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can run that back at some point soon. Sorry, Pluggo.
Yeah, you guys want me to leave the room? Jeez.
No,
Yeah.
listen. Talent admires talent. All right, it is what it is. I can't help it.
I'll just read a passage from The Rock says.
I can't help it. You know, I share a birthday with that fella. Do you know
Your
that?
birthday is May 2nd?
My birthday is May 2nd. I share a birthday with The Rock and David Beckham. That's my
There you go.
Do you guys want to hear the first line that I saw?
Yeah.
Is it something about him as 14 years old having sex with an 18-year-old?
No,
that's in that book, though.
It just says, by now it's obvious that Farouk is too stubborn for his own good. He's holding his ground. The Rock balls in his hand into a mighty fist. 3. Wham!
Wow.
There you go.
I feel like that should be the start of every wrestling podcast and every wrestling show is just grab a random wrestling book and just read one line. Doesn't matter from where.
I've got a few down here. I got the Young Bucks book, Drew's book, Becky Lynch, Mankind, Moxley's, Rey Mysterio's, Steph DeLander's book, too. I haven't started Steph's book yet, but I got a few. We can do that. We can do random wrestling book passages.
Sullivan's in the chat. He goes, "Don't move on from Dan knowing The Rock's birthday." Did you not remember the segment of "This Is Your"? Everyone should know The Rock's birthday.
Okay, let's start there. I want to start there. We'll get to Saturday night's main event. People confuse "This Is Your Life" with being a great segment because it's the most viewed segment of all time.
Yeah.
Isn't that the name of the game?
No, it was a terrible segment that just so happened to have the most amount of viewers of all time. And that is why every 10 years we get a new "This Is Your Life." Mm-hmm. Like we had the John Cena "This Is Your Life." We had the Bailey "This Is Your Life." They're trying to get that magic when turns out in the first place it wasn't magical at all. That segment sucked. Sorry. I've been waiting for the right platform to say that on.
I say you've been coming in hot tonight. I love it.
Yeah. What a hot take. That's a hot take.
I know what you guys are thinking, Dan. Why are you talking about a segment from 1999? Well, Between Two Beards was not around in 1999.
It's true.
We were around in 1999, but this wasn't in there, as the kids say, or an apple in my eye yet. This wasn't.
But this show, yeah.
The show was deep inside of us somewhere.
My nephew says 6'7".
6'7".
I don't know.
Or my kids say it. Like I tweeted the other day, I bought a 76ers hat on discount, and they're like 6'7". I'm like, no, 76ers. Are my children dyslexic? I don't know.
I don't even know what that means.
I picked one of them up today. I picked one of them up today from his grandma's house, and in sidewalk chalk across her driveway, he wrote 6'7". I said, "Did you just write 6'7" across Gigi's house?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's cotton candy 6'7", Dad." And I go, "Yeah, but this isn't your house." And
that's awesome.
But I was like, all right, man, if that's how you live.
Kids, bro.
I still don't get what it means, but it's a thing. Speaking of which, should somebody just get thrown down the stairs?
I was gonna say, what the heck was that? Somebody just take a wipeout?
Somebody's dead.
Let's hope not. Let's hope.
No. Nah, we're good. But like we said, we were trying to talk, and Spencer's in the chat. Welcome. It says, we do not talk about Bailey's "This Is Your Life" thing. That didn't happen.
That one was truly. I agree with Dan when we are specifically talking about the Bailey one, because that one was some hot trash.
Well, what was funny about it was like what they brought on her childhood friend, and it's like you're mocking her for watching wrestling on a wrestling show. Sports entertainment, call it. It's like you're making fun of the people that you want to buy your tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's true. It's
Anyway,
That goes to like a greater point though. Like, how many times have they replicated an old segment where it was like, "Yup, that was better than the first"? It doesn't usually happen. So I would love that they just would stay away from those things. And you're saying like the Rock, but Dan said that the Rock Mankind This Is Your Life segment was hot garbage. But there's a lot of people that disagree with your take. As I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that hold it in a higher regard than you. So when they see the Bailey This Is Your Life segment, they're like, obviously this is trash.
yeah, but at the same time, that's WWE's whitewashing their own history kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, if you remember the show Confidential, they talked about it on Confidential, and then you'll find it every now and then. They'll do another thing on, WWE.com, or they'll put something out on their YouTube channel or whatever it is. And they make it sound like it was, once again, it was this magical thing that got the most amount of viewers. What did it got? Like what, 13 million viewers or 9 million viewers, whatever it was.
Something like that.
An astronomical amount of people tuned in to watch it, and people look back at the Attitude Era with a lot of rose-colored glasses.
Yeah,
that I agree with.
That's true too. Yeah, I've watched some old Raws where I'm just like, that wasn't as good as even if you took out the whole like some of the stuff where you just looked at the wrestling and some of the, you're like, that's not as good as today.
But part of it is like because Stone Cold was so over. Like, you have to understand, like, he was so over to an extent no one had really ever seen other than maybe the Hogan days. And I'm even going to argue he was even more over than.
I think he was.
I think more people wanted to be Stone Cold Steve Austin than they wanted to be Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Like, taking your boss's ass and middle fingers and drinking beer. Hogan was all about taking your vitamins and saying your prayers and stuff.
Dude, he whooped his boss's ass on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
How many people alive were like, I would love to give my boss a Stone Cold Stunner. I would love to give my boss a Stone Cold Stunner.
And going into work and just flipping everyone off.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that anyway, but
you lose your job. You lose your job if you did.
So there's a lot, like, and you also have to remember that during that time, most of their live shows, they would just advertise it as tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You didn't know if he was wrestling. You didn't know if he was doing a promo. You didn't know if he was just going to be running in, stunning somebody. Nobody cared. They just wanted to see Stone Cold that bad.
Yeah.
And to answer the boss's question, yes, we did, sir. At the beginning of the show, he said it. You can click on that QR code right down there and donate to Big Bad Boris's 40-hour stream. Any bits and subs we get on the Twitch, any super chats we get here, they will all donate.
Challenge everybody, smash the like button and everything over here. Then go over to Twitter if you feel like throwing bits on there. Twitch, I should go do it all. Subscribe, all of it. Do all the fun stuff. And then the boss man said the only good sequel. What did he say?
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2, and then Ryan Sullivan corrected him and said D2, and that's the absolute answer for best sequel of all time is Mighty Ducks 2.
Mighty Ducks 2.
Yes.
Best sequel of all time.
Of all time. Listen. I'm not
going to argue. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to debate that it's clearly a great one.
You don't have. You also have to take into consideration that I grade these on a curve because my movie knowledge. I'm no cinephile.
Dustin in the chat, he said Home Alone 2. How do we feel about Home Alone 2?
Pretty solid. I like it. I don't think it's as good as the first.
I think Home Alone 2 is funnier than the first one, but I don't think it's a better movie than the first one.
So how about this?
When Marv gets electrocuted and turns into the skeleton, as a child, I don't think to that point in my life I ever laughed harder at anything else before that moment. I think at that moment, how old I was, 9, 10, whatever the fuck it was, I think at that moment when I saw that, I think I had never laughed harder at anything.
What about this argument? We talk about the Fast and the Furious, where there's 10 movies. There's 10 movies.
The second one is the worst one, though.
Right, but let's say the fifth one was the best, hypothetically. Would that count as a sequel being better than the original? Or you get what I'm saying here? Because now
we're talking immediate follow-up, or are we talking the whole So like yeah, like the Fast and the Furious, there's like 50 of those. Yeah.
But at some point,
Does it become its
they're
own?
not sequels anymore, right? If you're the 8th movie,
Like there's
that's
4
not a
Shreks, right?
sequel.
There's 5 Toy Stories. So do you only talk about Toy Story 2 as the sequel to the sequel? What's the terminology?
The sequel is the second one, right? Isn't that?
I think that's a fair way to say it. I think that's the rule that we should make. Is the
So
sequel
like Toy Story 2 is the sequel. The
Right.
third and fourth one are just different installments.
Yes.
Or different whatever, right? Because is the third one technically a sequel to the second one?
Okay.
No, right?
Spencer's saying that his vote is for immediate sequel.
For the second movie.
Ryan Sullivan is he would know these things because he's a history buff, so he knows stuff. Give us the right answer. Where's Affiliate when you need her?
Terminator. He said there's also Terminator 2. That is up there near the top of sequels. I don't think it's better than the second movie, but this is and that's controversial to some people. But Godfather Part 2? You shitting me? Come on now.
I don't think I ever saw Godfather Part 1.
Brother.
Oh, you're missing out.
I can make a strong argument.
Okay.
Argument.
I'll add that to the list.
What's wrong with me? I could make a strong argument that those are the 2 greatest movies ever made. Period. I could make a strong argument, but that's neither here nor there.
I took a film class in college, and we actually watched The Godfather, and so we would watch 30 minutes at a time. And the professor would actually break down every single thing that was going on in the movie and explain to us, well, this is what they did in the script. This is why this part is important. This is why they shot it like this. Piece of art. Piece of
Unbelievable. Art. And then Spencer says Pluggo defends Cool Runnings but hasn't watched The Godfather.
One of the early listen.
Okay, I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy. Cool Runnings is a great movie.
Thank you.
1000%. I am not. That's a Spencer anti. Cool Runnings.
And Spencer, Spencer, I don't know if Spencer's anti Cool Runnings as much as he was anti where I drafted it in our Disney movie.
We did
draft.
it. We used to. All right, so Dan, before you were even a regular in the chat, we used to do drafts at the end of every show. We would.
I think we still have the.
And we would, we still have.
Look,
hold on.
This is here. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, we used to do this.
Rap battle. That was it.
Oh, amazing.
So we used to do drafts at the end of every show. The last half hour or so, we would pick a topic. It would be anything. We did movies. We did cereal. We did whatever. And we had a Disney movie draft. And Pluggo took Cool Runnings second in the second round. And it was the whole chat lit up. It was controversial.
Ooh, I don't know if I take it second.
Controversial.
I think I took Mighty Ducks in round 1.
You took Mighty Ducks in round 1.
You can make an argument for Mighty Ducks. I'll give you that. But
what did I take? I
stand on. I will die on this hill that Cool Runnings is the greatest Jamaican bobsled movie of all time.
I mean, no debate.
Well, I think that's why Spencer probably doesn't like it, is because Canada and the Canadians are seen as the villains in that movie.
That's true. That is true. They were real.
They are the bad guys.
They were real
the bad guys.
Pieces.
So,
hey, Jamaica, you gonna push that thing across the finish line?
Dicks.
So I had a wrestling podcast back in 2019, and me and my one buddy, we did like a fantasy draft. It was like, okay, you get Raw, I'll get SmackDown. Who do we take? And in his second pick, he took Akira Tozawa, and it just absolutely blew my mind. And this is not me hating Akira Tozawa, but this is me going, dude, like Randy Orton's still on the board right now. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah. It says a stolen bobsled gold medal. A stolen bobsled
John Kennedy went up to Calgary without enough money. He had a little bit of money.
He did what he had to do.
He guilt-tripped his buddy that he cheated with, he cheated the win on to get he got it cheap, man. He got it for like $5,000. He had $5,000. Get that. I still don't know how they turned that into that, and I don't know where he got the money for the suits and stuff, but hey, listen, stop ruining my childhood, Spencer, love.
There we go. There we go.
Listen,
John
now that I've learned how to master the 2-minute like video, maybe we bring back that can find some. I have been dabbling in finding some new stuff to watch. Maybe I'll dust The Godfather. I'm into that whole kind of still like the mafia mobster stuff. Like, I like that kind of stuff too.
All right,
so I don't know why I haven't seen it.
You can do it multiple ways. You could just watch Godfather 1 followed by Godfather 2 if you want. Godfather 2 is a longer movie. It's like, it's longer. Or they released a thing called the Godfather Saga, which combines 1 and 2 in chronological order. Because in Godfather 2, they go back and forth to the old time before 1.
Don't
and
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, JPJ, because we tried that bullshit with Star Wars and it just confused the shit out of me, and I gave up after like 3 movies.
You don't have to watch Godfather.
You should
3,
watch it in this way. You should watch it just.
No, you should just watch Godfather 1 and Godfather 2.
Okay.
And
if you're going to do that, if you have to watch something in chronological order, you need to do that with the Arrowverse, because it is so confusing. I was talking to my wife's brother-in-law, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I was watching Arrow, and then the Flash showed up, and then a bunch of things happened, so I had to then watch the Flash and catch myself up like 4 seasons to get to the point, and then all of a sudden this other show broke out, so I had to watch that show and then figure out where I was at and the whole thing. I really think Netflix is missing an opportunity. Have something called the Arrowverse, and then just put out each episode in the chronological order that it came out in the timeline of the DC universe there.
Fair. See, I'm real behind on that stuff.
Ryan,
if you're asking me, The Godfather Part 3, rubbish.
Spencer says a 3-round draft right now on best wrestling mustaches.
Right now?
Like right now, as in right
now,
now,
3 of us, like we're gonna have a 3-round draft on best
of like all time.
Mustaches?
All time, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Hogan's got to be 1, right?
Well, we know. Hold on. If we're having a draft, we need to do this legitimately.
Okay.
Dan can have
Is that a
first
demand
overall
by the
pick.
boss? Is that a demand by the boss?
Listen, that's how good Saturday's main event is, which we'll dive into shortly.
All right, Spencer. Well, listen. First of all, when we start talking about WWE, there ain't going to be nothing loving.
But Dan is the guest. He can go 1, and you can go 2. I'll take up the.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to do it proper.
I mean,
all right.
The last.
All right, Spencer said in all caps right now, all time.
All right, Dan.
We're going to do it. No, wait. We're going to do it proper. It's time.
Draft battle.
All right. This is the first B2. This is the first B2B draft in over a year.
Official,
Easily.
Official.
Easily. So Dan is the
I'm
guest.
picking Hogan. I'm picking Hogan.
First pick overall. Dan is taking Hogan.
This is like when the number 1 draft, like the number 1 team in the NFL draft, like announces like, hey, we're picking this guy and we signed him to a contract. So when draft day comes, it's all just ceremonial at that point. Yes, Hogan is number 1.
Opposed to now where they sit there and wait the whole 10 minutes knowing like Andrew Luck's the fucking pick.
Yeah.
Like we're wasting 10 minutes. You're not passing on the generational talent. What are you doing?
Anyway, make me look up wrestling mustaches here.
All right. I'm taking somebody current. I'm taking somebody current right now.
We're trying to do it off the dome.
I'm taking Dominic Mysterio right now. Off the board. I'm taking Dom.
See, this is why we stopped doing this shit, because it pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm taking Dirty Dom right off the rip.
That's a great pick. I'm taking Ravishing Rick Rude.
Nice. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a great stash. Well maintained. It's not it got mustache rides, baby, for everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing you guys didn't take my 2nd round choice, because I think he's better than the 1st round choice. Magnum TA.
All right, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Guys,
I like that, but we left JPJ a slam dunk, didn't we?
Because you know who I'm taking.
No.
Dan, your first pick was who?
Hogan.
Well, my next pick used to say something called "Fuck the Hulk Hogan, the Iron Sheik."
It's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
A little bit of twirl.
So I'm trying, since this was impromptu, I'm kind of just trying to go off the top of the head here. And Simon Gotch, dude.
Okay.
Remember that was such a good stash. Like, say what you will about the man, but that stash was pretty good.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know why the stash that popped into my head.
So for my final pick, this is a tough one. And I'm going to say the name I'm not drafting first. because he's
don't
my
that, 'cause
honorable
we still have
mention.
picks. We still have picks.
Oh, that's right.
You
Yes.
can't have honorable
Yeah,
mentions.
we'll do the honorable mentions after. 'Cause we
Afterwards.
still have
Okay.
picks.
I'm saying 1980s Scott Hall.
Ooh, that's not bad.
I don't hate
That's
it.
not-
I don't hate
that's
it.
not
I don't
bad.
hate it. I don't hate it. Oh boy. All right.
I'm surprised.
It's tough. This is tough.
It's not that tough.
All right. Well,
Well,
listen. My first pick was Dominic Mysterio,
Oh yeah, see, you can book it. That's a great.
and I'm going to book it because I'm going to take the guy that he's basically emanating, and that is mid '90s to late '90s Eddie Guerrero, baby.
gotta
choice.
protect the stash.
That's it.
Gosh. And only because, again, I'm trying to think, and I'm sure there's plenty of options, but and I just interviewed this gentleman this afternoon, Nasty Nate Nixon.
Wow.
Love Pro
Okay.
Wrestling's Nasty Nate Nixon has got a fantastic mustache.
That's awesome. That's
Like, I would never be able to pull it off, but it goes like, it literally, he does the thing where it like goes up here and then he twists it. Oh, beautiful.
what you just did is the equivalent of when WWE does their draft, and then like in the first round they pick somebody from NXT, like they pick the champion. That's
Yeah.
what you did. You picked
That's right.
you picked the best mustache of Love Wrestling, and you brought him to the forefront. And I know who you're talking about, and I can't debate that. And it's good that I didn't pick my honorable mention, which is Tyler Bate.
It's a good one.
Hey, yeah, that's a great shout too.
You know, a lot of people think that they have him wearing a mask now. I don't know where these people come from.
Yeah, Tyler Bates
But,
not a
but
sabbatical.
I haven't seen Tyler Bate in a while, but people are saying that, you know, he could be one of those Americano fellas.
I don't believe it. Those guys
I
are
don't-
luchadors.
They're legends.
Yeah.
They're Mexican legends.
It's
Unbelievable.
I don't understand how people keep getting them confused with other
Dustin.
I thought about it. That
yes,
was my honorable mention too.
Yeah, I thought about it too. If Eddie Guerrero had been taken, Cody Rhodes and the mustache
you
era
know what-
would have been my choice.
You know, it's another mustache that I really heavily considered was that when Triple H did that thing,
The handlebar.
the handlebar with the law. Remember that with the suit game back in the Evolution days? I really thought about that one because I thought, man, he's committed to this bit.
Yep. That would have been good.
There's probably some other good ones that we're not thinking about. So in the chat, let us know what mustaches we missed. But again, that was kind of an impromptu draft battle. First one we've had in a long time. Maybe we'll bring it back. If we could do it that quick, I'd be down.
I've been watching a lot of Kane interviews lately, and I think that he's going to be having a mustache pretty soon. It's going to be like one of those like little ones that go right over his mouth.
That's what he's talking like, though. Yeah.
Sheamus is another good. He sometimes Sheamus rocks a good one. Trying to think of it. Yeah, some other funny mustache.
Cesaro.
Did he have? No, he didn't have a stash, did he?
Or Claudio. I'm sorry.
Did he
Didn't
stash
Claudio
it
have a
up there?
stash?
Oh, maybe.
Did he at one point?
Here's some more.
Back in the Ring of Honor days.
Oh, back then, yeah.
Here's a more fun
Jake the Snake,
experiment.
that's a good one. Jake the Snake had a good
Yep.
mustache.
Here's
That's a good
another. What wrestler currently do you think should rock a stash? Where you'd go, yeah. Like, does Finn Balor need a mustache? Like, imagine Finn Balor with a mustache.
No, Finn Balor is, to a lot of people, including myself, he is perfect as is.
Well, yeah, he's hot pants to Mrs. Pluggo. She had me buy her Finn Balor Funko Pop.
What about CM Punk bringing back the stash?
Oh,
I wouldn't hate. I wouldn't hate.
I wouldn't hate that.
I think if CM Punk goes heel at some point, he'll change the facial hair to make it look more.
Yeah.
Oh, Sergeant Slaughter. What about Sergeant Slaughter?
Okay.
Hangman has an off on.
Hangman.
Braun Breaker with like a bushy full mustache.
Well, he would look like Rick Steiner, right? Rick Steiner had a mustache.
Yeah, Rick Steiner.
Like,
Scott Steiner
exactly
Scott Steiner with that whatever he called it goatee with the mustache, but it was kind of Hogan-esque, but it was just a goatee. It didn't have the sides.
This guy wasn't a wrestler; he was a manager. But what about Paul Bearer with his mustache?
I met him at an autograph sign or at a
person.
I met him at WrestleMania 28 during the Fan Access event, and it's like one of those things where you walk through and it's like the Undertaker's, like, you know, the graveyard of the Undertaker, and at the very end was Paul Bearer, and shook his hand, talked to him for a bit, and I had short sleeves. He saw my tattoo. He goes, "Oh, I got quite a few of those myself," and I was like, "Really?" He goes, boy, you don't travel with the Undertaker as long as I do without getting some ink. And it was like, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah,
There you go.
wouldn't think that though. Wouldn't think that person.
No.
You know who else has had a low key? Richard Holiday. I've been seeing a lot. He's
Love
got a
Richard
good stash. Holiday's got a good stash. He comes across my feed all the time. He's trying to get the attention of Pink. So Richard Holiday, we support you in your decision to A, rock that mustache, and B, get the attention of the Grammy nominated and winning artist Pink in your quest to get her song for your signature move.
There you go. All right, I think we've tried to dodge it as long as we could.
Luckily, there's not a ton to talk about.
Let's talk about this fucking show that happened on Saturday. Fucking waste of time this was.
It was 2 hours. It was quick. It was smooth.
Yeah.
They picked a good show to not bring Jesse Ventura back to.
Yeah, I noticed that there was no Ventura on this one.
You know, usually the saying is quick and painless. This was quick and painful. I don't know how this happened this way. No. Listen, all right? It was fine. It was fine. But let me tell you, and I know it went on last, that CM Punk Jey Uso match was about as boring a match as I've seen WWE put on. And that's saying a lot because they have not been strong these last 6 months or so. That match, I could have fallen asleep. I was bored to tears in that match. I'm glad Punk won. I was on Punk winning. I thought the crowd reaction was great. I thought Punk was happy. I thought fine. But that match was, man, that was not good. That was not good.
I think it's okay to say the bloom is off, or the bloom is off the rose at this point with Jey Uso. Not that he's washed, not that you shouldn't be, advertising him or putting him on the show. He's definitely over. But I think the main event days of Jey Uso are done. Hey, you capitalized on it at the right time. You struck while the iron was hot. No one was getting more of a crowd response than him at that time. I'm sorry, but you guys know I'm a corny guy. He said this like a year and a half ago. He said Jey Uso hot dogs too much and his work is just not there. And if he doesn't tighten up on stuff, the fans are going to turn on him a lot sooner than he realizes. And it's kind of what happened. It's his work is not the best. And I'm a non-worker, so he's better than I'll ever be.
I'm the only worker. I'm the only worker on the show.
About to say, yeah, you're well, I wouldn't say you're undefeated, right? But
self-defeated.
Okay.
Self-defeated.
But I mean, listen, it's one of my issues with Triple H's booking over especially this last year is that he books everyone like he would Triple H. And everyone's got to have the 25-minute match. And it's like, nah, dude, sometimes some guys just need an 8-minute match. Sometimes it's okay for Roman Reigns to go out there in 10 minutes, just Superman on a dude, crush him, walk out, whatever. Sometimes it's okay that your main event at a special show is just 12 minutes long. If they go out there and they just, raise hell, barn burner and everything, and you just saw a bunch of wild crap. Yeah, dude, 12 minutes, good match,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the main event, and I've talked about this a couple of times already. The problem was, on top of that, is when you watch the first half of Jey and Punk, you feel like that they're just they're slow playing it to get to the big finish where you're going to have all the shenanigans. You're going to have Braun Breaker, you're going to have Bronson Reed, you're going to have Paul Heyman, LA. You're going to have all this stuff that you have over the last 3 months told us is your formula for this particular feud. And you didn't do any of the work to why wasn't Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman there at Saturday Night's Main Event? They barely explained it on Monday. I don't even think they mentioned it really. And I'm like, you conditioned me to think that this is how this was going to end. And then you not only slow played the first half, but then you didn't bring home, it didn't wow me. And I would again, that whole show, there was nothing that they did where I went, I have to tune in Monday night. Even though I did tune in Monday night because I watch it and I cover it, but they did nothing to cliffhang me into the next night.
And we're going to talk about that on its own because
that
had something tied along to it. I just felt like the whole time I was watching this match, I was waiting for it to hit that next gear, and it just never hit the next gear. Mm-hmm. It just stayed the first gear. There was clunky, obviously the neck breaker spot with Jay over rotating, and you saw Punk, which again, he has a history of being kind of a curmudgeon-y guy, but he seems to be happier than he's ever been and like more, I don't want to say professional because that's anti-Punk, but you know what I mean. You could see even he got angry and he gave Jay like a little kick to the head, like a little, hey, like get your shit together, man. Like, let's go. It just felt like it was very one note. Nothing spectacular happened. And for the main event where you're crowning a new champion under shitty circumstances, obviously nobody wants Seth to be hurt, but under shitty circumstances, I understand you had to do this match. This wasn't the plan and all that stuff. That you got, I mean, it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. And, you know, and it was the main event of the show. I think the other stuff that happened on the show were better than it. I thought that was arguably the low point of the show was the main event, which is not often, even with the kind of not great booking aside, usually the main events have hit for the most part. This one just never got there. Never got there.
You know, there's, like you said before, I think the show itself was fine.
Yeah.
I think WWE has done this to themselves of they had a chance to make Saturday Night Main Event something bigger. And I feel like they first fumbled that ball a year ago when Kevin Owens did not beat Cody Rhodes for the championship. I thought that at least make something big happen there, because we knew going into Saturday Night's Main Event that there was going to be a new world heavyweight champion. And unless they would have done, you know, the bronze running in and a double disqualification and the fans would have, you know, set the building on fire had that happened. I think everyone kind of saw it of one of two ways. Either A, Jey Uso is going to win and that's not the result the fans wanted, or B, Punk's going to win and just give it to us finally. And it was a weird attitude. Like you said, it was crap booking going into it because of the circumstance. But I mean, you only filled the balloon up halfway and then you let go, and you know,
like my main sticking point with that was even if after the fact have Punk, because even when the credits started to roll at the bottom with the little like logo in the corner, I thought maybe Seth's music would hit or something. And obviously I was being like way out there, but at the very least, like have Braun Breaker at the top of that ramp, just looking at him and just going, because you sold me all week that the reason that he wasn't in that battle royal was because this was the goal. Here we are. And you want Punk, who just won the belt. And he even said on Monday, there was no Seth Rollins to mess it up, but there should have been somebody. There should be more hungry guys in this locker room, and Punk should have been like, oh, okay, I had my celebratory moment. Shoot, now I got to get back to work. But that would have been work for me. But again, overall, like, it was the right call to have Punk win, I think. Jay, they teased him turning on Monday. That was set up right there. He did not. I don't know. That's because Dustin made the point. Jay sells a shit ton of merch. He's immensely over. But his ring a little bit can be a little on the weak side. But again, he sells a shit ton of merch and he drives a lot of sales. I don't know what a Jey Uso heel turn looks like in the sense
it's
that
got to be on Punk.
Right. But it's like, but I mean, in the sense of like, what's the rationale? The no yeet movement's already taken by his brother, so he's going to have to downplay the yeet because he's still going to get yeeted because it's such a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm interested. Maybe it'll happen at Survivor Series because it looks like he'll be on Team Punk.
And why don't we'll hold, because we're going to talk more about Jay, because I do want to talk about Raw and just kind of that. But so, and you know, Dan, you mentioned it. You said that you thought they had an opportunity on Saturday night's main event to make something special happen. I agree. Yeah. And it was the first time Saturday night's main event was just on Peacock. They kind of built it as if it was kind of a bigger deal than just the normal Saturday night's main events we've been seeing. Right. And I'm going into it and I'm like, all right, I think Punk's going to win this match. He's going to win the title. I'm picking Jade. I picked Jade to win. I'm like, all right, that's two new champions. And then going into it, I said, They should really put this belt on Drew McIntyre.
They need
should
to at some
really
point
put
here.
this belt on Drew McIntyre. They're having this match with him and Cody, and for the third time, Cody's beat him every time. So why are we doing this again? Unless you're gonna, even if Cody wins it back in a couple months, who gives a shit?
Yep.
Put the belt on Drew, because at some point you don't just lose matches, you become a loser.
Well,
and I feel like Drew McIntyre is on his way, if not already approaching the majority of fans just looking at him like a friggin' loser because he loses all these matches.
It's going to be the Big Show effect, where he's a big star, but everyone, like you just said, everyone expects him to lose. No one ever expects the Big Show to actually pull out a win. You know,
that he'll be that a Big Show sense of like, oh God, the first title defense thing, you know, where it's like, oh, we're gonna give him the Big Show. Oh, we're gonna give him this massive Drew McIntyre, and it's gonna be like, which is unfortunate because the fan base doesn't feel that way about Drew. No, we don't think he's a loser. We see it. We go, he's got all the tools. He's got the in-ring that you need for his size. He's got the promo skills. He can go on the mic with anybody, and they just, for some reason, it's this like they can't find a reason to pull the trigger on him and give him a long-term sustainable run. And Cody right now is in this awkward spot where, like you said, Dan, Triple H likes to book as if everyone's Triple H. Well, Cody's running into this problem. It's like, what's left for what's intriguing about Cody Rhodes right now? And I hate to say that because he's so good, but it's kind of becoming, not to the Jey Uso extent, but it's becoming like, okay, Cody's ran through the roster. He's the white meat babyface, come from behind guy. Like, where's the intrigue here? And a Drew victory there at least goes, oh, maybe Cody you can play up the angle of Cody getting too comfortable. Cody slipped up. Something. I don't know, man. I was a little.
And here's the thing. So I called this a year ago, and if Drew would have won on Saturday night's main event, it would have lined up perfectly. And I think this would have been a better route for WWE to go, because you would have Drew McIntyre as the WWE champion. You would have CM Punk as the world heavyweight champion. Have Sami Zayn win the Rumble and challenge Drew, because he has not beaten Drew yet. But, you know, big match Sammy finally coming through, and people can call him Sammy Hogan all they want. Everyone in the crowd goes nuts for him. And quite frankly, Sami Zayn deserves every big match he possibly gets. He's phenomenal. So you set yourself up for the Sammy Drew feud to blow off at WrestleMania, and you now set up LA Knight and CM Punk for WrestleMania too.
Yeah.
I thought the writing was just on the wall right there. And we're going to get the Monday night where they completely muddied that.
Oh yeah. All right. So the rest of Saturday night's main event, Jade Cargill, newly heel. Jade Cargill, basically, it wasn't like a full-on squash, but she basically dominated her way to the WWE Women's Championship by defeating Tiffany Stratton. So Jade Cargill is the new WWE Women's Champion. I think that's a good thing for her. She should absolutely destroy most of the roster over on SmackDown. And which, you know, I think as we lead to the inevitability of Bianca coming back at some point and kind of being her main challenger at WrestleMania or somewhere around there. So I had no problem with that. I saw that one coming. I thought that was a good spot for Jade. I kind of wanted her to win convincingly too. So even the way they did it, I was kind of like, yeah, that feels right. Like, she just turned heel. She should kind of bully Tiffany around to this victory, and she
especially
did.
With the knee injury.
I thought this was actually the part of the show that went as it should. You know what I mean?
And that's my other issue with Triple H booking too, is he books everyone like everyone's Triple H champion. The long title reigns. It's, hey, sometimes you got to know when to cut it short. Sometimes somebody only needs a 2-month title reign. Yeah. You know, like Sammy did with the U.S. title. You know. Yeah, some guys like Gunther with the IC belt, perfect. That was the perfect title reign for him. But yeah, I thought Tiffany had it for as long as Tiffany needed it. Probably a little bit longer than she probably needed it, quite frankly, in my opinion.
Fair.
Yeah, no, she did a great job. I know that her title reign was a little bit like underwhelming to some people, but I thought it did. I mean, it started out clunky because I don't think they knew who she needed to be, because I think they wanted her to be a babyface and she hadn't quite figured out how to do it because she was so good at heel. But she started to really come along there. And that match she had with Stephanie, the Crown Jewel, was fantastic. And it's unfortunate she's been dealing with some injuries over the last few months, but Jade's the move. And Jade being a heel now, you can protect her in the sense that you don't have to book a heel champion to wrestle week in, week. She doesn't have to come out and be a fighting champion. She could come up with plenty of excuses to not wrestle until Adam Pearce goes, "What the fuck? I need you out there," type shit. So I'm down with that.
Yep. And then the other match that happened was for the Intercontinental Championship. I actually thought that and as far as the Cody Drew match goes, in my opinion, that was their best match of the three. Like match-wise, that was their best match. I just felt like you had to put it on Drew there. But anyway.
Shout out to Maria. Welcome to the chat. They shouted earlier. Scott's in the house too. Welcome in.
So then we have this triple threat for the IC title. Dominic Mysterio finds a way to retain once again against Penta and Rusev. Dom is white hot. He's been white hot for a long time. I feel like there should be a study done in future about where Dominic started to how over he is now, because it should be studied.
You realize that they're going to rewrite history and be like, he was the son of a luchador legend, Rey Mysterio. It was bound to be. He went from the son of a legend to the top of the company. Yeah. They're going to skip that part where we wanted him to go away.
And he stunk for 2 years. He was just terrible. But look, he's not anymore. He's unbelievable. He's over. I'm into him. I dig him. I think he has become a bona fide superstar.
And that finish, man. That finish was awesome.
I thought this was the match of the night with these three guys. I really like what they've been doing with Rusev a lot lately, seeing him wrestle every week. Penta has been the coolest guy alive since he's shown up there. This match was just everything it should have been. It was the match of the night, and Dom winning and the way that he won is just perfect. And it's just, this was the best part of the show for me.
I feel like they need to rib Penta a little bit, because every week now it seems like he's getting more and more pyro. Yeah. And then just gradually keep adding more without telling him. So to the point to where, like, for 2.5 minutes, he has to stand there in his pose while, the 4th of July is just going off behind him.
It looks like somebody realized how cool that shot looks in 8K.
Yeah.
They're like, more. Because he does. I thought that was such a cool, I thought Dom played it perfect. The Eddie spot with the chair in a triple threat match where the ref's like, what are you doing? Like, it wasn't because Dom forgot what kind of match he's in real life. It's because that's the character that he's playing, that he's, he do whatever he can. And then the ring and the bell finish. Oh man, I really enjoyed that stuff. I don't know. They keep doing the thing with Penta where they do tease it though. At some point I need to see him win one of those, but it ain't at the expense of Dominic Mysterio. That's for sure.
We gotta listen. I love Penta. He's a single star. How about instead of just just throwing Rey Fenix with random tag team partners, you just fucking put the Lucha Brothers together, please. They can still be singles guys if you want them to be singles guys. They can tag. What you put him with Andrade, all that fucking goes out the door. And now he's with somebody else. I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but now he's with a different guy.
Isn't that just sad?
It's like Rey Fenix is too good to be getting put him with his brother.
Yeah.
He's too good to be just thrown together in other tag teams like this.
And like you said, you could still do the single star stuff. You could still, why not? But yeah, the Lucha Bros, Rey Fenix is one of my favorites. And yeah, he gets kind of just tossed around over there on old SmackDown. But
unbelievable. Speaking of SmackDown, Nathan Frazier answering Dragunov's open challenge. That match that they had, holy moly, what a match that was. I just wanted to put that over. Dragunov in that role. Dragunov in that role, kind of taking over, beating Sammy, which apparently from all reports was Sammy's call. They were going to have Sammy win, and Sammy was like, no, that's not. He's coming back from after a year. Like, he should totally beat me and win this. Like, that would be stupid if he lost. And I'm glad I listened to Sammy. But that match, Ilya Dragunov keeping the U.S. Open Challenge, that's a perfect spot for him because he's going to have those type of brutal banger matches with everybody. And I thought Nathan Frazier stepped up, and I thought that was a showcase match for Nathan Frazier. I just wanted to put that over because I think that U.S. Open Challenge has been easily the best thing about SmackDown since they've started doing it. But yeah. So that was Saturday night's main event.
And if you wanted any excitement or any swerves or it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
No,
fucking
so
that was as bland could be.
4 championship matches, a quick like Tiffany Stratton, are you good to wrestle? Backstage segment. That was it. Hi, Mrs. Pluggo, the love of my life. Apparently the love of white shirt William Taylor's life. I found that out today. You'll hear about that later. Hi, honey. She's got a big match coming up against Big Bad Boris in the 40-hour extravaganza extreme going down the 14th and 15th. It's Mrs. Boris versus Mrs. Pluggo in wrestling trivia because they don't know much about it, so we're going to test them. We've done Grey's Anatomy. We did Grey's Anatomy trivia. Mrs. Boris won that. We did a newlywed game. Me and Mrs. Pluggo won that because we are the cutest couple on the planet and know each other oh so well. But again, donate to the stream. If you're on Twitch, hit that subscription button. It'll all go to the cause of Big Bad Boris's choosing. Make it happen. That's going to be 40 hours. Could you imagine streaming for 40 hours?
No.
Straight?
I'm too old. I need sleep. I wouldn't be able to do it.
I've watched episodes of Raw that felt like they were 40 hours. That opening segment, I'm pretty sure, went 40 hours.
Okay. All right. So,
I think it's still going on.
So
Punk is still putting over his wife.
Before Raw even starts, Triple H puts out a tweet
Landscape
that he says the landscape is changing. Starting on Monday night, starting on Raw. I go, the landscape is changing. What is that? Oh, Punk's the new champ.
Those
landscape's changing.
Buzzwords.
Oh, all right. What do we got? Who's showing up? What's happening? Well, let's go. Then we get to Monday. We get to this opening segment that was 35 minutes long of a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, great. It was just Punk's talking. He's doing his I'm happy to be here on a Monday. I'm glad he got his little, you deserve it, world champ. Like, yep, first time he was a champion on Raw in like 13 years, whatever it was. Fine.
Where were they on Monday night? Because he also
they were in New Mexico. They were
New Mexico, and he was also like,
yeah.
how's it feel to be a champ? He did the whole New Mexico. He was definitely getting the pop.
Here's another thing I'll say. They need to go to where they were at Monday night more often because that crowd was lit the whole night. And they need to never go where they were for Saturday night's main event ever again because that crowd sucked. Not that they were given a show to be thrilled about, but that crowd sucked in Utah. Anyway, I digress. So this opening segment happens, and holy moly, man. So Punk comes out. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be world champion, blah, blah, blah. Gives a shout out to AJ Lee. Where the hell's she? Gives a shout out to AJ Lee.
Home with Larry, dude.
Gives a shout out to the fans. Puts over Jey Uso. Does all the typical stuff. Paul Heyman and stuff come out. They start talking about, all this stuff. He's like, ooh. No, before this, I'm sorry. He's talking, and Logan Paul comes out. And in the moment, let me tell you, I was like, Logan Paul coming out here is not the worst thing that could have happened in this moment. That's how I felt, and it made me feel weird. I was like, look, if this could have been worse. Honestly, this could have been worse to me.
What would have been worse?
Brock, no question.
Yeah,
okay. No question.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
I thought that might have been where they were going. And I was like, so I saw Logan Paul, and I was like, all right, that's not the worst guy I could see. And it was kind of a good spot for Logan. We haven't seen him in a while. He's automatically going to get the heat. He comes out. He starts being typical Logan Paul. Then we get Paul Heyman and the Braun Brawns. And they're kind of talking about how, we were waiting for this moment. Now we have our eyes set on one person. We're going to get you, blah, 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 blah. And, Braun Breaker grabs the mic. Even he cuts a little bit of a promo, and he looks at Logan Paul and he says, he knows what we're going to do to him right now, but you have a choice. You can either get the hell out of the ring, or you can kind of get what's going to come to him too. Logan Paul does the typical what we expect Logan Paul to do and says, see you later, Punk. I'm getting the hell out of here. They start beating down
But
Punk.
to be fair, Logan did at least hesitate and think about lining with Punk, which I, in that moment, went, holy shit, are they going to try to do the impossible and turn Logan Paul a babyface? Because that is not going to happen. But are they going for it? Because that's the whole landscape would definitely change.
So he leaves, and then he's walking out, and then he, like you said, he's doing the fighting down the Brawns. They beat the shit out of him. He gets speared. He gets tsunami'd. And then Punk just steps over him and grabs his belt and is like, yeah, and leaves. And Logan Paul's laying there. And I'm thinking, that's what they're going to do. I'm like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to turn Logan Paul babyface. That's the landscape.
Logan Paul tried to help Punk, and Punk was
this guy, we're going to make this guy a babyface.
It was amazing.
So that's the opening segment.
That was crazy.
So I wish I had the tweet available right here. When Triple H makes these vague, big promises like you haven't seen anything yet, it's only going up from here, the whole landscape is changing, he then books the biggest war crime against wrestling you can possibly think. Yeah. And it's I went into this episode and every time, dude, it's Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown with me. And I'm like, Triple H knows wrestling. He understands, like, you can only book bad shit so many times before people give up on you. And I'm like, all right, let's see what he's got. And I'm not like the biggest Logan Paul hater. Like, I don't watch any of his stuff. Like, his podcast is garbage, his content is garbage. But in the wrestling ring, he can actually have a good
he's good.
And so he's not the worst professional wrestler I've ever seen. Kind of deal with him. But at the same time, it's like, dude, what are you going to do now? Is he going to wrestle Punk? Is Heyman going to be in his corner? None of it makes sense to me.
Plus, to circle back on the point you made about Triple H making that big statement, Triple H was a part of one of the all-time landscape-changing things in wrestling history in the DX. Like, he knows what it takes to, like, truly change a landscape, so to speak. And as soon as that opening segment went off, they had the stuff with Jay and Punk, and all of a sudden they're like, we're going to do Jay and Punk versus the Brawns in the main event. I'm like, we've seen that about 1,000 different ways, different time. Okay.
I'm going to counter that. If you look at the click of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash,
Click is a myth, dude. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm going to argue that I think Triple H is probably the fourth creative out of the four of them. I can maybe argue three because Kevin Nash and the WCW, and there's other stuff that happened with creative control and different wrestlers having power that maybe they shouldn't have had. But I truly think Shawn Michaels has shown with his work in NXT over the last year and a half that he's probably the best booker out of the four of them. Never forget just how intelligent Scott Hall was when it came to not just the work, but how professional wrestling should work and the psychology of it. Same thing with Kevin Nash. I mean, dude's got an entertaining podcast, and I like Sean Oliver. Or that's who it is, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Sean Oliver is the host. But I can only listen to Kevin Nash talking a monotone for about an hour at a time.
But if you were a part of that movement, that moment, even if you're the fourth wheel in terms of, or the ranked fourth in terms of creative and all that stuff, you know that you were part of something that was truly groundbreaking, truly landscape changing. And how are you going to sit there on Monday and go, "This is it. This is the one. This is to make that tweet come to fruition." Because there's a certain promoter that does it in another wrestling company that people dump all over when he does it. But at least he swings and swings a little bit sometimes where you're like, he kind of played it safe on Monday. I overall thought like the ladies killed it on Monday night.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought Becky
sure.
Lynch's promo
Incredible.
put over Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Anything so far.
Yeah.
Look at Becky has been putting over Maxine Dupree for a month now. She's had 2 great matches in which Maxine won both of them, mind you.
Yeah.
She's had 2 great matches with Maxine, has given her a ton of offense in both of those matches, made her look like a legitimate person inside the ring. And like you said, that promo on Monday put Maxine over even more.
Especially with women wrestlers, I remember years ago listening to Jim Ross and Shane Helms on one of JR's podcasts, like do a recap of one of the pay-per-views, and they were talking about the Bellas match, and Shane Helms went, Nikki and Brie are trying, so I'm not going to be rough on them because they're. And if you remember at that time, they really weren't training the women wrestlers. It was, hey, you look beautiful, go out in that ring and go wrestle for 3 minutes. We'll figure it out from there. And that's kind of what they did to Maxine Dupree a couple years ago is literally the modern day equivalent to that. Like she really had next to no experience whatsoever, and they threw her out in the ring. And then the next thing you know, there's clips online of people yelling at her at a house show saying that she's the worst wrestler ever and she can't wrestle. And I just kept thinking back to that and thinking like, man, this poor girl's out there actually trying, and it's truly not her fault. And to see where she is at now, she's not Shawn Michaels. Like let's not confuse it, but she's definitely better. She's improving, and she's got that it factor, and people like to see her. And I think Becky Lynch has done amazing, just absolutely amazing things with Maxine. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm excited for that match.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be honest with you. It won't happen.
Yeah.
I might
Put it on her.
Maxine go
Put
over.
it on
Yeah,
her.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest.
Hey,
Like have AJ.
I would have
lead,
AJ interfere.
Cost her interfere, and Maxine wins the title.
Yeah.
From Becky, because don't get me wrong, Becky versus AJ for the IC title would be great, but that doesn't need that. That doesn't need the IC title. They're both.
But you could also, like you kind of said with Drew, like you could do this thing where like Maxine wins it. They do this with the IC title all the time, right? Like the Miz, he gets, or was it Zack Ryder won it at Mania, lost it the next night? Like you could do a situation where Becky's still kind of downplaying the significance of Maxine Dupree, and she just gets caught napping one night, and Maxine does it, and we get this huge moment. And I think to Dan's point, it's also this like, even if it's a title reign for a couple days, we're saying, Maxine, you have come so far from that house show stuff where people were dogging you to now you're wrestling these incredible matches with Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch just put her stamp on you and saying, no, this girl's got something, let's run with it. And then she'll start racking up better matches. So I think there's a lot of ways you could go with it. Do I think they're going to do it? Probably not. But
but here's the thing. And if history has showed us anything, if Maxine wins the IC belt, Triple H is going to strike, and he's going to be like, it's time for Nia Jax to beat her.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you talk about, what's going to happen. The fans are going to go nuts. They're going to be throwing the babies in the air, the confetti, people are going to be ripping off their shirts. They don't know how to react. Then all of a sudden you hear boom, boom. I'm not like those girls. And it's the ring.
I feel like, damn it.
Oh, you're so close.
Right now Triple H is watching the show, and he's just got his pen out. And he's like, this is perft.
Yeah. How's he know?
How do you think we keep getting invited back to things?
How do they know?
We're low key Triple H's ghostwriters, dude.
Let's say your phone's going to go off like Meltzer's did. Tony Khan is calling.
He's like, listen here, JPJ, Pluggo, what I need you to do is I need you to go on and be critical of the product, but throw a couple of good booking nuggets in there to throw them off the scent. Yeah. I'm going to write those down, and then you can go to these shows.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that, all right. So we're talking about the opening segment, right? Yeah. We have the main event tag match. Whatever. Tag match happens. We get to after the match, right? Match gets, first of all, all right.
He's gearing up for something.
No, I'm trying to.
I got my finger over the Boston anger button.
No, it's
whenever
not
you're ready.
that. It's not that.
That's my
It's
ringtone.
not that. It's
Is
not-
it really? Please
should
tell
be.
me it is.
Yep.
That's so good. That's amazing.
I hope so. I just had an update on my phone and it deleted a bunch of crap. I have a shit phone, but yeah, it was my ringtone. And when my wife was, because she works nights, when the final few weeks before our newest baby was here, I had to sleep with the ring on, so that was jacked up, and just waiting for the
Live from the land of Cotter and Pain.
JPJ's losing his freaking brain.
You're somebody's ringtone, dude. That's
pretty good.
that's
Pretty
pretty
good.
awesome. I ain't
Yeah.
nobody's ringtone. That's cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you saying, JPJ?
So I was gonna
derailed
say,
you?
all right. Well, this match happens at the end of the show. Whatever. Fine tag match. We get to the end where it's the Brawns in there, and they look like they're gonna take out Punk. They already taken out Jay. It's 2-on-1, and then we see Logan Paul run down to the ring, standing side by side with CM Punk, and he puts the brass knuckles on, and it looks like they're gonna take on the Brawns, and Logan Paul wallops CM Punk with his right hand. CM Punk sells it like $1 million, just knocked unconscious immediately.
Dead.
Yeah, very good sell by Punk. And then Logan Paul gives the brass knuckles to Heyman, and Raw kind of goes off the air with what seems to be Logan Paul has made a deal with the devil and has aligned himself. I don't think he's like a new member. I think this is War Games based, most likely. So
It's gotta be. It's
right.
gotta
Like
be.
I don't know if this is like an official. He's in the group now or anything, but I feel like he's aligned himself at the very least with the Vision and Paul Heyman.
That would be
Again-
it. That'd be kind of crazy to put Logan Paul just like at the forefront of this group, considering like you just made the move to show Braun's kind of like his own person, and Bronson Reed's like not too far behind him. But let's neuter them with Logan Paul as the centerpiece. Like, just I hope it's just like a War Games thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out in kayfabe terms how they came to that agreement before Logan Paul hit the ring.
Great call.
Well, after the opening segment, like they had a backstage segment with Jay and Heyman, where Heyman was trying to talk Jay into turning on Punk a little bit. I felt.
Joining the dark side.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we didn't see it on camera, but Heyman somehow, when he was in the back, got his way over to Logan and was like, "Hey, just letting you know, you can always find, do the right thing and join us." Look, we all know that Logan Paul is going to do what's best for him. Period. End of story. And in his eyes, aligning with the Vision and Heyman is what's best for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a smart thing to do. He's never going to be a babyface. Ever.
I mean, I look at him and I'm like, dude, it's if you're just trying to get Logan Paul on TV to get his fans to watch, why does that have to be the main event? You know what I mean? It goes back to, WrestleMania 40, where, The Rock inserts himself in. It was like, well, I'm going to be bringing all these other people in, people who aren't watching watch W. Okay, fine. Wrestle The Miz then. Because those people aren't watching for the story anyway. Yeah. And the people who are watching, regardless, are going to love the fact that The Rock's just wrestling to wrestle. It's the same. It's like he doesn't have another influencer buddy that they can just go after the SmackDown tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be that influencer buddy? Who would you, like him and Jake?
I Show Speed.
Him and Speed. That'd be kind of for the
Mr.
kids.
Beast. I don't know. Just it doesn't matter. Jelly Roll. It's anybody.
There you go. I like that.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But no, I did think, like you said, Pluggo, I did think the women had a really good showing on Monday. I thought the Stephanie Vaquer Nikki tag match with Roxanne and Raquel was really, really good. Dan in the chat saying, good point, Dan. So
Dan, you may listen. If I said good point after every
good job,
point
Dan. Let that man speak.
Oh, did you have more?
No.
Is that Dan's way of saying he had more to say?
No. What?
Did I ruin his point?
No.
I'm confused.
No. You're fine.
There's a Dan Brown in the chat. There's a Dan Brown on the screen. I don't know what's going on here.
You're missing the joke, Pluggo, I think.
What's happening?
Dustin saying, would you rather see Logan turn face or team up with someone to go after the tag titles? Logan turning face is it's never going to happen.
I just don't know how you get there.
The crowd will never fully get behind him.
They
tried it when he debuted and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what was his debut? It was being
against
in
the Miz.
Sammy's. Was it Sammy and KO? Or
no, I thought he first started with the Miz, didn't he? Wasn't the Miz his first?
He started teaming with the Miz and then he turned on him.
Okay, I see. I thought he did something with Sammy and KO leading up to which WrestleMania would that have been? Was that not the pandemic year? In 2021.
No, yeah, it would have been the year after.
Because I know he had the match with the Miz.
2021 at SummerSlam, he fought the Miz. That was his big match.
And that was after their tag match.
Because they tagged together at Mania, and Logan's first Mania, he tagged with the Miz. And then after the match, I thought he hit Miz with the skull-crushing finale, right? That's how he turned on him?
I could have swore he did something with Sammy and KO before that, and Sammy was picking on him, and the fans just couldn't give a shit one way or the other. And then maybe it was WrestleMania, maybe it wasn't, and then he gets in the ring and he punches Sammy or whatever he did, and then KO stuns him at the end of it anyway. Because let's be honest, you see KO, same thing as Austin. You want to see the stunner.
Yeah, which Stone Cold graciously gave to KO, which is very
yes,
true.
he did.
It's true. I thought the tag match with Lyra and Bayley versus the Kabuki Warriors was awesome. Lyra Valkyria is a top 5 worker in the whole company. She's incredible in the ring. I thought this was a lot of fun. And then they're getting their shot, Bayley and Lyra. I'm sorry, the Kabuki Warriors are getting their shot at the tag titles next week. Raw is in Boston. It's John Cena's last appearance in his home state of Massachusetts, and they kind of loaded up that Raw. We're getting a women's Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez. Rodriguez are fighting for.
You did the same thing that Wade Barrett did on Monday.
Yeah, he called her Gonzalez.
I mean Rodriguez. And I was like, I do it too.
Yeah. Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez for the women's title is Monday night. We have the women's tag title match. They're loading up, and then we're also starting the 16-man tournament to crown the person who will be able to fight John Cena in his last match. And we're getting Rusev versus Damian Priest, which is a nice match.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that one. And then so that'll be good too. But I thought the women were really, really strong on Monday. And then I thought the other standout segment was Dominic and Ray. Dom came out.
Ray looked incredible.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He looked
that
real
seems.
good.
I want to listen. All I need to do, and I'm a wrestler. I can claim. I just need the WWE to sign me for one day. Let me get injured. Let me be off for 6 months to a year, and then come back, and I'll be absolutely just in the best shape of my life. That's how they do that there.
Well, no, now they just let you get injured, and then they cut your contract.
There's an outlier to every rule, Dan. But generally speaking, Ilya came back jacked. Sami Zayn came back jacked when he came back. They all do it, man.
AJ Styles, Randy
AJ
Orton.
Styles, Randy. The list goes on, dude. That's what I need.
You don't work for 8 months. Once you're physically clear, all you got to do is just fucking lift weights and work out, and
yeah,
that's what they do, man. That's what they do. I thought Ray was great, and he came out and he was like, as long as I'm still around, you are not the best Mysterio. You are not the king of the luchas. You are not anything.
What
You
a
know,
real
and he even-
heel, what a real heel move to talk to your son like that.
Yeah, and then Dom was like, "Well, I know I'm better than at least somebody, and that's you, you loser."
Do you talk to your kids like that, Dan?
Of course I do.
You'll never be the best Brown when I'm around.
How you expect to get the best of them and the best out of them if you tell them they're great?
Well, it's also kind of like a Saddam Hussein type of thing. Like you can't let people start to think they're challenging your power. You got to cut them down at a certain point.
Yeah,
You have to. Yeah. So there was that. That was a good little segment. And Ray did look great. He gave a 619 to Dom. So I feel like, is that going to be the match for Dom at Survivor Series now in San Diego? It'd be Dom and Ray. Is that what we're doing?
I'm not against it.
I know the rumor people thought it was going to be Cena and Dom maybe there for the
is that too? I mean, I guess it's not too quick, but it would be like Dom, Ray, hometown, and they're both from San Diego. It'd be crazy. But I thought we were. It would. I mean, I guess we could get another match out of this, but would Ray be willing to put his career on the line this early?
I
thought just came back.
I thought this was actually leading to Dom joining the heel team at War Games and Ray joining the face team at War Games.
Okay.
And then eventually they'll have their other match a little bit later on.
Maybe. I wouldn't hate that.
And I also, if I'm also fantasy booking, because I really want Dom to be Cena's last opponent. I think it's a win-win regardless of the outcome. If Cena loses, he put over Dom. If Cena wins, Dom gets to be the whiny little heel. Cena gets the IC title. Leave on a happy story. Grand Slam champion. Dom wins it back. And I think it would be great if he went out there to cheat and then Ray found his way into that match to, stop Dom from cheating, but also giving Ray a little bit of that, like, hey man, we both came into the Fed at the same time,
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. I know
he goes by Pluggo. Says good point, Dan.
Thank you, Pluggo.
Shout out, Pluggo. Thanks for liking and subscribing to the channel. You've been a subscriber here for 5-6 years. For you.
Through all 176 episodes.
That's
true.
That's right.
Dustin asked in the chat, he goes, "You got any predictions on what the men's war game match will look like?" Is it still too early to tell?
Logan, Bronson. Is that rumor of Austin Theory still floating around? Is that a possibility? That'd be wild. What's Brock doing?
Oh no. Don't do that.
Right? That's your all your Heyman guys. And then you got Punk, Jay. You could do Cody, I guess, if you wanted to. I don't know why you would.
You put Roman in that match?
You could
Jimmy?
You could put Roman and Jimmy in that match and do it like a Bloodline 2.0 thing like they did last year. I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I know we're dumping on the booking, and they should be able to. They need more contingency plans in place for stuff like this to happen. But a lot of the plans got thrown. Seth being out, that threw a wrench into things, and they've kind of had to retool. And there's really just not a lot of there's a lot of main players, but there's nothing that's like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. They're gonna have to do a little work to make it happen, but they got the pieces.
Yeah,
I don't know.
See, I started writing down my team. I have Roman, Punk, LA Knight, Ray, Cena, and possibly with Jay costing the babyface side the win somehow. Don't know how, but
Yeah,
yeah.
to do that.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I don't know.
How do we get the Dom to the Dom angle of it? You could just write it. He's been trying to get help from everybody because the Judgment Day is not helping him, so he turned to Paul Heyman.
yeah,
And then that's kind of how that happens. So, and again, it's just it's like a one-off thing where it's a War Games match, and then they kind of go their separate ways. But yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, Scott's saying he thinks Ray will face Dom for the IC title. I feel like they definitely built to it with that segment on Monday. I thought that it was an excellent segment. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else happen on Raw that we wanted to discuss?
I don't even remember. It's sad.
Before we talk about the reason that we brought you in here, though, we could, for a couple of minutes, talk about the picture that is our graphic. The picture that swept the internet, where backstage you had Ricky Saints, Jade Cargill, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, former AEW talent, all champions in WWE, and WWE fans saying that AEW did nothing for these people's careers, and then AEW fans saying, well, we absolutely built a few of these people into the people they are today because they had a chance to work with us. So, and then of course, if you throw in Ethan Page and Blake Monroe into that mix, you've got 6 champions that used to be in AEW.
So, all right, here's my problem with, again, this is just the way the social media works nowadays anyway. But the people that are coming out saying like AEW fumbled and things like that, they didn't. Like CM Punk is a 2-time AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Jade Cargill.
He just happened to get injured both times.
Yes, but is that their fault though? And then he torpedoed his way out of there. That was more of him than it was the company. Jade Cargill, up until a couple weeks ago, was the longest reigning TBS champion in the history of the company. And then a dream of hers was to go to WWE, so she made that happen. The Ricky Starks thing, that's different. That's different. And then Cody was the 3-time TNT champion, the longest reigning TNT champion for a long time, booked himself to not be allowed to ever win the AEW championship, which he openly admits was a mistake. Yeah. And they shouldn't have done. So is that, again, yes, are these former AEW people that are in WWE that AEW maybe should have tried to keep a Ricky Starks probably and things like that? Yes, I can do that. But for the people that are coming out saying like AEW, no, they were all very successful in AEW. They're not there anymore and they're all in WWE, and I understand that. But it's not like I just don't agree with that sentiment of that AEW fumbled those people, because they didn't. The Ricky Starks thing, I could argue, yes, because of the way that went down. Clearly wasn't the best way to handle that on any scenario. But the other 3 people were treated very well over there until they didn't want to be there anymore.
And they made Jade Cargill. They built her from the ground up.
Yes.
But Dan, as a what do you think?
All right, so I got opinions, and I'm gonna start with each person. Cody, come on. Cody came into that company as a star, and I'm talking about AEW.
But he did have to leave a WWE to become that star.
Yes. So
for sure,
and AEW was essential in that
himself. And I think we'll circle back to Cody in a second. I got my pencil in front of me so I don't lose my place. Jade was literally had done nothing in wrestling before Tony Khan got his hands on her, and he did literally the most he could possibly have done with Jade. I think any of the Jade shortcomings in AEW is one of those. It's like, Jade, you kind of got to look in the mirror kind of thing. And actually, I'm not even sure that's 100% fair. It's putting somebody out there with absolutely zero experience is, not fully on them, but okay. You didn't fumble on Jade. And quite frankly, Jade, you've been in WWE for 2.5 years now. And in all honesty, if she didn't win this match, I honestly thought she would have walked to the back and they would have been like, well, here's your papers, best luck in your future endeavor.
That's also a funny part of this is how many people in the IWC are crapping on Jade winning the title because she quote unquote can't wrestle, but also claiming that WWE made her.
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
You simply can't have it both ways. Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, whatever you know him as. I keep calling him Ricky Starks because that's how I saw him on NWA Power.
NWA Power. Ricky Starks was goated.
The stroke daddy.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
NWA Power made Ricky Starks, dude.
Listen, he's doing great stuff. He just had the promo of his lifetime. A couple weeks ago. He's not blowing up the world quite yet. So to say Tony fumbled him, that's not fair. I think Tony Khan is good for the wrestling business. I think having some guy that just pays he pays people because of how big of a fan he is.
Yeah.
And that's why WWE has, they counter program everything. It's not because it's the wrestling product that they're in competition with. It's, TKO going, hey, how come we're paying this guy Carlito $600,000 a year to stand in the background and play Xbox? Well, we got to pay him $600 because if he goes across the street, they're going to pay him this much, or, they're paying this guy. Okay, well, counter program him until, we get rid of them. Because, some of these guys are, and I'm speaking as TKO in a hypothetical situation, these guys aren't worth what we're paying them, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think it's good that Tony Khan has an endless supply of money that he just keeps giving these guys, because it's going to make WWE give their guys even more. So now we get to CM Punk. Tony fumbled. You fumbled. You fumbled time and time and time again. And this is where I get the most angry with AEW over, is because I think back to TNA and think back to when, they plummeted and just going, we're never going to have another serious competitor to WWE. We're never going to have a serious second brand. And then here comes Tony Khan. He wasn't the boss that they needed him to be to handle someone like CM Punk. Okay. It's a little bit on both, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to say he made his choice. The AEW faithful made their choice, and they got what they wanted. And they got rid of CM Punk, and they kept Jack Perry, and they kept the Young Bucks, and they used to sell 10,000 tickets every time they go to Chicago, and now they do 3-week residencies in the back of a abandoned Chuck E. Cheese when they're there. So
and they put out a better weekly product for going on 2 straight years.
Hey, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that.
I am a CM Punk guy. I'm not an anti-CM Punk guy. CM Punk is the reason why he doesn't work at AEW anymore. Not anybody in AEW.
I think
he acted
I'm gonna argue.
He acted
all
like
these stories that come out. Has anyone said CM Punk is lying? Has anyone?
No, and that's fair. But CM Punk is the veteran back there. How about you act like the veteran back there?
Hey, so was Arn Anderson and Mark Henry, though.
It's fair. It's fair.
They act like the veterans, and
I'm just not willing. They made a whole separate show for that guy.
let's be honest.
They made a whole separate show for him.
Let's be honest, though, too. I think
David Zaslav made a whole second show and gave them $52 million for that show.
Still,
and then
though.
6 weeks in, Tony Khan has to go to Warner Brothers and say, so that guy you wanted to have on that show is no longer here.
Yeah, he quit. Yeah, we had to fire him because he was attacking people.
Because I was scared for my. That was not an attack. Come on,
He was attacking people.
You saw the video.
He lived. Tony Khan lived it. You weren't there. You didn't see the.
We all
He had
weren't
this.
there.
He had this look in his eyes, and
He was
said,
ready to go, man.
"Let's get it on." And I thought
what he
for
said.
sure.
That's what he said. He was scared, dude.
I
Listen.
love the idea. I love the idea that you put out there that like Tony Khan's behind the desk bowing up the Punk right now, and
I think what happened to I don't think the WWE. I mean, no matter what, whenever CM Punk would have decided to come back to WWE, it would have been a smashing moment, big success.
Oh yeah.
Yada yada yada. But I think the WWE needed and Punk needed to go there. I think because it helped. Because it's also helped this whole story of like he's so happy in WWE, everything's hunky dory. He's the happiest he's ever been. Because you can also go, well, he had a really awful time at AEW. I don't think anything CM Punk does is unintentional. I think both sides of them fumbled CM Punk. I think he could have acted a little bit better. Tony Khan should have. I think Tony Khan is finally starting to realize that because you're not hearing as many of those stories anymore of like the locker room tension, dissension, all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, like I think AEW needed Punk. I think Punk needed AEW because Punk needed to prove, one, he could still go because he hadn't wrestled in like 10 years. And two, could he still draw? Not only could he wrestle, was he still a main draw? And they're like, oh, yeah, shit, he is. And then all of a sudden he's like, this isn't the WWE that I mean, this isn't the same company So things are different here, and I don't know how to handle it because in WWE there was a lot more of a lot more hands off stuff for Punk to do, right? In AEW it was a lot in that time frame. It was a lot of hands on still, like wrestlers, which may or may not be the right way to do it, right? Like you got wrestlers who are authority figures, and you got all this stuff. I don't know. I just think Punk didn't. I think he got into bed with somebody he didn't realize he didn't like. You know what I mean? It sounded good. That $20 million sounded good.
I'm going to ask a question, and give yourself a second before you answer it. Would AEW be in a better position today if they kept CM Punk and got rid of the Young Bucks? Would the ratings be better? Would attendance be better?
I don't know.
Maybe not for the big show. Big shows are the big shows. People want to come out to big shows.
Well, I guess it would depend on how they're booking it, right? Because again, I'm
just asking hypotheticals.
No, I think that's a great hypothetical. I actually do, because I'm thinking of in the terms
now, granted,
of.
This doesn't mean Punk should just be going around the locker room punching guys in the face. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm also not. I'm not saying that.
But I also think it would have been. Now, if you're asking me Punk or Perry, I would look back on you and I say, oh, they should have tried to keep Punk. The Young Bucks are founders of the company. I think that changes. I think that's a bad look if you were to choose somebody over. But I don't think they really had a shot.
There's some shit that's going to come out about that one day.
When we're going to hear about that. But I don't think that was I don't think they let Cody walk. I think Cody was like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, the way Cody spins it used to be through rose-colored glasses, and it started over the years to kind of trickle into some stuff went down. I actually think AEW might be in a better position today had Punk never signed there. Because if you look at Punk's, which don't get me wrong, he had good matches, he was a star, they got a second show off him. I'm not discrediting any of the stuff he did for the company, but if you have to look at everything he did in his career at AEW, you have to look at that All Out, the Brawl at All Out, and all of the damage control work that they had to do and some of the missteps they made after he left. They're still rebuilding that.
But why did those events happen, though?
Exactly. That's another great
and
part
that's the
of
thing.
it.
Why? And listen, I'm the last person that's going to defend Vince McMahon, and I think wrestling is a much better place without Vince McMahon in it. But you do need to have a warden there at every company that's going to be like, cut this out right now. Because imagine if Adrian Adonis tried pulling some crap on Hulk Hogan in the 80s. It would have been like, okay, Adrian, here's your train ticket. You're in coach and just,
coach too. Damn.
Yeah. It's here's your pay for the next 2 weeks. All right. It was nice doing business with you, kind of thing.
Sure.
And I'm just, the rumor mill started somewhere, and I don't think Punk was starting the rumors about himself. And we know I don't know. Maybe I'm just a huge Punk mark. That's very possible. Yes, exactly. I was the ECW diehard fan of the week in 2007. You can find it on WWE.com somewhere in the archives.
Is that true? That's awesome.
That is. It was. They came to Cleveland. I type in Dan Brown, ECW diehard fan of the week, 2007, and I'll pop up. And
did you tell Mrs. Dan Brown that exact line? And she's like, "Yep, this is my man."
I told my wife that, and she was like, "Just please shut the fuck up." So there's a picture of what I was 19 at the time, going like this, wearing my CM Punk T-shirt. So
I personally believe, like Pluggo said, I don't think Punk could have came back to wrestling and went right to WWE. I think he needed to come to a company where the fan base at that time was more starved for actual wrestling, and that was the wrestling that Punk got famous for doing, Ring of Honor, like that style of passion and fan base. And then when he got there, I think that he thought the company was going to be more run behind the scenes like WWE, like people everywhere, and it just wasn't that way. And I think he realized real quick that he was like, oh, okay, this is, but I think they were both essential to each other. It just ended obviously horribly. And then I think there was a cloud over AEW for a long time because they didn't want to acknowledge it and they just refused to kind of get over it.
And then they acknowledged it in the worst fucking way.
And then they acknowledged it in the worst way they could do. And then a couple months after that, you've seen, and I think of all people, I think Tony Khan has learned the most from that. Because you see Tony Khan now, he's not fucking blabbing his mouth off on Twitter. The only time he uses Twitter is to promote his shows and put things over. The writing and the stories and the shows they're putting on have been more cohesive and more of that original AEW that got these, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at, they're not selling tickets like they were 3 or 4 years ago, but if you look over the last month, year to year and a half, they are selling more tickets week, but like they are trending in a good way. And I think it took a while after Punk. And I think, if anything, and you're right, if anything, I think that what that showed was that they needed somebody in the back to actually take charge and be an owner and be the guy in charge that says, hey, cut the shit.
And that person is Bryan Danielson.
It is now.
He is part of it, But I also
he's gonna shit talk Bryan Danielson.
Exactly. Like so I think having somebody like that back there helps. And then I think Tony has changed in the way that he does business and changed for the better. You don't hear any of the backstage. Even besides the Punk shit, how many other backstage fights did we hear about? Andrade, fucking. We heard about all these backstage fights and backstage Britt Baker and MJF going at it, and like you heard about all this bullshit.
Thunder Rosa hiding in the bathroom because of everything.
And what is one thing that we have not heard about AEW over the last calendar year? It's that type of stuff. And that tells me, I know, hopefully not. Hopefully not. But like that shows me that regardless of how ugly it got, behind the scenes, someone somewhere, they turned a corner. And you can see it on the television product too. They just seem like they're just a much better, well-oiled machine.
I like Nick saying that the only bad booking from AEW to WWE is Pillman. Facts. Shout out to Nick for being in the chat. Poor Lexus King and that face painted beard.
This is all building to him eventually just saying, you know what, I want to honor and going back to Brian Pillman Jr. and being a babyface, right? Like that's what this should be. He can't be Lexus King the whole fucking time.
No.
Like he has to eventually just say like, hey, I want to honor you know what, I've been trying to run from my name to get out of the shadow of my father, but that is not a shadow I want to get out of. I should be honoring and want to follow that. I'm Brian Pillman Jr. And then the crowd's like, fuck yeah. All right, let's go. Right.
So I want to bring up one thing to what you just said that I agree with. And it was a rumor that seems like it was instantly killed where, and this is old news, but how we started off the show talking about This Is Your Life Rock. So it was Mike Speedball Bailey and MVP apparently not liking each other.
Oh yeah, and then they've made like funny videos even on top of it that are hilarious.
Immediately, you just see the video where they're both walking into their stuff like, fuck you MVP, fuck you Mike Bailey, and outstanding. Like that was the most drama you really had seen out of that locker room, and it was instantly killed. Yeah.
So as ugly as that was, and as that year and a half, whatever that was, I kind of feel like. Obviously, look at if you could go to Tony Khan, you'd be like, hey, is that something you wish never happened? He would probably say, yes, 1,000%. I wish that never fucking happened. But I kind of feel like they needed it to happen because something needed to change. Something needed to change back there from a leadership standpoint. And they got down as low as you could probably go and they figured it out. And it feels like they got their shit together over there now. So, and at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a real pro AEW guy. I used to do a show with Drew that you mentioned earlier where we just talked about AEW one full show a week. And we talk about AEW here a little bit every week. Like I've always been an AEW guy. I'm a pro AEW guy. I'm going to be going to Dynamite in a couple weeks when they're in Boston. So like I've always been a pro AEW guy, and I watch both. And like we were talking off air.
Yeah.
I feel like this year in general has been kind of a down year for wrestling, period. And maybe I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's a lot of people in this space that I'm close with where, this year we've been just kind of like, all right. Like we still watch it because we love it. And we've been watching it forever.
Treading water, so
yeah, but it just feels like there hasn't been a lot. Hangman winning the world title at All In was the most excited I got about wrestling this year. I thought it was the best story in either company this year. But other than that, there really hasn't been a ton of. I'm waiting for WWE to get me really excited about something. Like I'm not even saying the product has been bad because I don't think it's been bad. I don't think that's fair, but it has been very uninspiring.
The Riz man wrestled this year, and you're telling me that the biggest moment, the happiest you've been is when Hangman won. We had Big Justice and the Riz man.
Yeah, I think that was your favorite. My favorite was.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What kind of show is this?
So this is where I'll go with the state of WWE, because it's for everyone, and I see it online all the time. It drives me crazy. Like Vince McMahon would have never allowed this to happen. Vince McMahon allowed a lot of horrible things to happen on his own television that we are choosing to forget about.
Yeah, and Vince, and let's not forget, and from like 2012, 13, 14 to like 2019, Monday Night Raw was almost unwatchable.
I'll even go to 2021. It was awful. And
so let's relax here when we say,
what really killed it was The Rock fumbling, and I'm just using the term fumble here. The Rock fumbling the Cody, I Want Your Soul.
Yeah,
because we had no conclusion to that. It made no sense. It led to Cena's heel turn, and Cena's heel turn was magnificent. It was one of those things where like let's just say the three of us were sitting at a bar, just having a good time, having fun, cutting it up, and we're like, man, what would a Cena heel turn look like? And then it's one of those things where you fantasy book it, and then you see it, and you just go, I don't know if I really wanted to see this. At the end of it, you're like, oh,
what do you do now?
Exactly. And so I think with those two big fumbles happening, and they were such huge points going into WrestleMania, on top of, and I forgot what platform I put this on, but it was one of those that Andy Warhol painting of the guy standing up, the freedom of speech, I believe it's called. WWE is truly at its best when a heel Roman Reigns is on top as your champion. And because it just seems like everything else just kind of falls into place at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They have two babyface world champions now with Cody and Punk. So
I hate the double champions. I've hated it. I've always hated it. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Get rid of one of them.
Yeah, because then there's this no debate type thing. I like that. But Dan, we are about 15 minutes until the end of the show. We brought you on here not only because you break excellent movie takes, wrestling takes, you're a funny guy. Dan is cooking in the chat. Spam a W in the chat for Dan. He's probably going to throw him off it. But you have a comedy album coming out tomorrow called The Dad Night Rises. My first question to that, I'm going to ask you this question. You can go with it however you want. We kind of all understand what goes into making like a music album. Like you go to the studio for a few months and you bang out, your songs, and then you have somebody chop it up, put it out there. But a comedy album, you got to kind of decide, I'm going to record it here. It's live. It's one, or do you piece it together? How did you decide? And I think you decided to do it in Goshen, where I was at that night. You decided that.
That's right.
How did that come to be?
So essentially what happened was I had the clean set that I wanted to have at that show. And then, so my recording of that was purely happenstance. Like, this is the clean audio I need. I didn't work with anyone else. I edited it myself. If you remember that night, I think I did like an hour, 5 minutes, whatever. My special is only going to be about 48 minutes. I cut a couple things out. Do you remember? I completely forgot about this, but apparently at that show, either the microphone battery died or something happened with the microphone and they needed to replace it really quick. And then there was one company there. I remember they kept calling them circus elephants. I forgot what they actually did. So I edited any kind of reference to them out of it because no one's going to understand what any of those jokes were.
He also edited out and go, Jade, you got a huge...
Yeah. I actually kept that part in. I wanted to make sure that part was in.
Let him know. Let him know.
Hey, let him know. It's a special. You can't see it, but everyone there saw it. So it was one of those things where I edited it myself and just made sure everything was clean. And sometimes people are like, oh, I'll help you out with that. And then they just don't. And then you're kind of screwed. And I was like, dude, I recorded this a year ago. I need to get this out. Like I just do. And it's something more so I needed to do for me. So I just decided I found TuneCore. I had a friend who's a musician recommend TuneCore to me. We had a slight hiccup at the beginning getting my stuff uploaded. The original release date was supposed to be October 24th. That was the one I made the post about. And then when we had those issues, I was like, all right, new plan, November 7th. And quite frankly, I'm still terrible at technology. I don't know what's going on. So as far as I know, November 7th, my special is going to be available on iTunes for purchase. And if you got Spotify, you should be able to listen to it on there. And I'm just excited for it to come out.
Very cool stuff. Like I was there that night. I took Mrs. Pluggo on a little date. I said, we got to go see this comedian guy that I just had on the show. I can't believe he's coming to my hometown. And that's awesome. Like, now what? You got the album out. We already starting album 2?
So I'm working on a new project. And I mean, I'll just tell you what it is here. What I'm hoping to do. And for all I know, I might just abandon this, but I've been working really hard at it for the last couple of months. I'm hoping that next year I can record another special and make it a Christmas-themed comedy special.
Oh, very nice.
And because my one buddy, he has a special out. It went number 1 on Amazon, I think, and it's called Spooky, and he filmed it at Halloween time. He filmed it in black and white, so his whole special is black and white the whole way, like very Clerks style. Nice. And it's a little bit about Halloween, but it's a love letter to his wife, who he calls Spooky, and their big day together is Halloween. So it all kind of came together, and I was like, well, I'm a huge Christmas guy, so that's what I want to do. I want to do a Christmas special, and I want to keep it more on the wholesome side, but I also want to keep some fun, try to relate with as many people as we can. So these last couple months, I've been throwing in a couple extra Christmas jokes every set because, one, my hour-long Christmas special is still not ready. And two, it's really hard to do an hour of Christmas jokes in October. It's really hard to do it in September. It's really hard to do it in February. So this is going to be a big project that I'm going to have to get a lot of feedback on in very small increments.
Yeah, I was going to say, because really, the only month you can really get away with that is December, right? Anytime like maybe like
November,
December. Yeah, like mid-November through the new year, you could probably.
I think I could probably get away with it in late June through July if I do like a Christmas in July
type of thing.
And I'm already in talk with 1 or 2 places about possibly doing like a run through just to see where it's at. And it's like, hey, we'll have an opener. They'll do a regular set. They'll do 30 minutes up front, and then we'll keep the ticket prices cheap. This way it's, the people are coming. They don't feel like they're gypped. We'll even promote it as a run through kind of thing. So I'm really hoping I can record that next year. Still other things got to get put into place before that happens too. So that's a big project. I got a couple screenplays I'm working on. Me and a friend are, and I'll mention the movie as soon as we go off, because I don't want somebody to be like, I'm going to buy the rights to that.
Fair.
But him and I have looked into something, and we actually finally found the owners of a said film that we want to buy. And then with the goal of us reworking it, like rewriting the script and maybe even producing it ourselves, like an independent type of thing. So I'm trying to stay busy. It's hard because, quite frankly, I'm not a name. I'm not a draw, except when I'm on Love Wrestling and your ratings
double.
On
my heart, dude.
Thank you, my man. And
I'm still kicking myself for being on my deathbed last time you were in town. Like, we had lunch plans, and I had to be like, Dan,
I know, man.
So sorry. I'm literally dying.
Well, I'm happy to see you're okay.
I didn't leave the couch for 4 days. I did this show with him, and as soon as we got off air, I went upstairs and I was done until Monday. I don't remember anything. I lost a bunch of weight though. It was really nice.
I say you look good.
Thanks. But I mean, the sickness started it, and I was like, "Oh, this is not bad."
Sometimes you need a boost. Sometimes you need a boost. It's fine.
So
I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Because somebody I work with had a stomach bug and they lost like 8 pounds. I'm like, oh, I wish. Right? And they were like, what? And I go, listen, I'm a big guy. It's hard for me to lose weight. Yeah, it will suck for a few days, but I will take a bug to ravage me through. Like, get rid of it. I will shed some weight, and then that's the boost I need to get me going. That's what that's. You know,
that's. You stand in front of the mirror after an 8-pound weight loss.
You're like, ooh,
not bad.
Oh, I'll bounce back, man. I'll bounce back.
That's why when anybody's like, "Oh, don't come around me. I'm going to get sick," I'll take my chances. I need to get another little.
I will shed some weight. I will sweat some of this shit out, man. I'll do it.
Well, dude, like my wife scheduled a family photos for Christmas, and it's like, dude, I've been begging people to cough in my face and everything. Get me sick, get me out of that. I'm looking door handles and everything.
You said you want to do a Christmas special because we're running low on time. I got to ask though, because I don't know if we're going to be blessed enough to have you back on before Christmas. Hopefully, that's not the case. What is Dan Brown's favorite Christmas tradition?
Meeting Santa Claus.
Okay. Heck yeah.
Pop that. Checking out the Christmas lights. Watching Elf with some hot chocolate. Watching Home Alone with some hot chocolate. Finding friends who are easily goaded into arguments about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And then just changing my opinion. I don't care. If you think it's not a Christmas movie, but you like to argue, fine. I'll say it is. If you think it is and you like to argue, fine, it's not. I can do this all day. I don't care. I'm a troll. I'm a terrible person. I've been blocked by like a dozen professional wrestlers, which years later you kind of regret. But except for Vince Russo, that one I'll stay.
Come on, bro.
Bro.
And Dave Meltzer. I've been blocked by Dave Meltzer too.
Fair.
Well, the guy claims he has these sources, and I said, prove that you have sources and answer the one question wrestling fans have always wanted to know: how big is Batista's dick? And you send that to a guy 2 or 3 dozen times, and he just blocks you.
I mean, listen.
I have a pretty extensive block list from my old days, but we could talk about
what is wrong with both of you. You know how many people that block me? No one.
Well, you're
just charming.
I've grown up a lot. Yeah, you're just charming.
Maria, I don't even have to dress up, dude. I don't even have to dress up. I'm already. Can I tell you? So I work in retail, and I had a customer the other day that told me this. It was a lady, and she said, "I really like your beard." And I said, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate that." She goes, "Reminds me of Santa." And she said, "I like Santa." And I went, "All right." I said, "I have to be professional here, so I can't." What? I was like, "Here's your change, ma'am. See you later."
She was hitting on you, bro. She was hitting on you.
I don't know.
She wants those jingle bells.
She got a Santa kink. She wants to see that whole baby.
I used to work for a high-powered coffee chain in the world, and one time I had regulars. They were these 2 pretty good-looking, professional ladies. They would come in the afternoon for lunch, and they would get their lunch. They got the same food every day and the same drink. And one day they got a coffee and I said, do you want any milk in there? And she said, oh, what kind of milk she got? And I told her and she goes, yeah, Joe, milk me. Yeah, that's exactly how she said it. It's exactly.
Dude,
and she said it. And she said it loud enough that multiple people heard it. And she got red in the face. And I just went, all right.
And then he slid her number.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I assure you.
Let's say she put you on the 1 yard line, buddy.
He wrote his number on that cup.
Guess what? I Ramondre Stevenson that bitch, and I fumbled it at the goal line. That's what I did. Because I did not.
Talk about Tony fumbles, JPJ fumbles.
I was like, if I say something wrong, I will lose my job. So I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
But think about this: you could have lost your job, but gained a lifetime of happiness with the lady that wanted you to milk her.
You know.
Dude, this was when I was before I met my wife and I worked at a bank. There was somebody came in and I talked to them and I waived some of their overdraft fees, not a big deal. And then afterwards I was like, I don't do this, but like, would you be interested in going out? And she complained and they were like, Dan, did you just waive someone's thing to try to like bribe? I'm like, no, I did it because it was a good conversation. And then I thought, hey, she seems kind of cool, and I'm sorry that at least I'm not doing it for the money.
I will never. That's why. That is one reason why I would never, in a million years. You could set me up. You could put that shit on a tee, and I'm like, I'm not swinging. I'm not swinging. I'm not swinging.
I don't want that corporate complaint.
Not swinging at all, baby. Not doing it. Not doing it. You can.
It's the reverse Little Giants. So you're saying there's a chance I'm gonna get a complaint.
Yeah, not doing it. Not doing it because it would be the one that I would be like
one time.
It'd be the one time that I was like, oh, this is real. She wants it. I'm gonna give her my number, and then I'll have an interview 2 days later with some dude in an office, telling me to write down a statement about what happened.
Come on, you wouldn't.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was like, customer connection guys, come on! What are we doing? Anyway,
not that deep of a connection, JPJ. That's a perfect way to say. I think that we could wrap a bow on this Christmas edition.
Sure can. Dan, plug the album one more time, and then plug where people can find you on social media.
The album's going to be the Dad Night Rises. It's going to be on iTunes. It should be wherever you can stream your music and comedy. You can check me out on TikTok, on Instagram at xdanbrown, Twitter as well, xdanbrown, YouTube and Facebook is at Dan Brown Comedy. Check out my Dry Bar Comedy special, Not Shopping Here Today, or as they rephrased it on YouTube, Every Man Deserves a Batman Wedding. And just leave a comment. Say, ha ha, very funny, whatever. You might not sound like a lot to you, but trust me, every one comment on there helps out a ton.
All right.
Love it.
Now, does that mean like at midnight you're going to push a button and it's going to be available, or do I have to wait till like 8 a.m.?
I think you have to wait till some kind of time in the morning. I'm not 100% sure, and you can never get somebody on the phone with one of these companies. So
why did we even bring you on if I got to wait?
I have no clue how any of this works.
I lived it. I was there, but I got to live it to hear it again. Anyway, I am Pluggo. You can find me at Pluggo on all social media platforms. You search this face, I show up there at every Thursday night, on every Thursday night with this handsome gentleman over here from Between Two Beards. You go to @B2Beards on all social medias to find out what we've got going on and up to date with everything that's happening with us. I do football media. I do football picks on the Hive. That'll be coming out probably as soon as I get off here. I have to put the video together. I actually recorded it, but I've been busy, but I'll get it out before the games. And then For Exposure at For Exposure Pod. No show this weekend as we are just, life is kicking us in the butt, but we will be back next weekend talking independent wrestling. And then all of my writings are up on lovewrestling.ca as well. And I have an interview coming out with the Mad Lads of LPW for the LPW show. Oh, yeah. They definitely they're a couple of characters, but that's me.
There you go. You can follow me, JPJ Loves Gaming, everywhere. Find me here every Thursday, like Pluggo said, 8 p.m. Eastern, the flagship show here at Love Wrestling. On Mondays after Raw and Wednesdays after AEW Dynamite, you can find me over at bodyslam.net doing the post shows. We do Raw Dogs on Monday with me and Corey Hayes, and we do Dynamite Up, me and Jose Gonzalez over right after Dynamite. And then you can catch me on the Hive. Pluggo joined me earlier this week for an episode of The Swarm. I do that with CJF Wrights, and Pluggo filled in for CJ on Monday. We do wrestling show on Monday, sports show on Saturday, and then I do a little EA Sports College Football 26, the high view over there as well. So that's where you can find me. Thank you to everybody in the chat who tuned in and for all the great responses and comments. I want to thank you two gentlemen. Today was a tough day for me personally. I had a loss in the family earlier this morning. So I messaged Pluggo earlier and I was like, you might have to carry me a little bit tonight. It's been a tough day over here, but I want to thank you two for entertaining me and things like that. I needed the show to have some fun and do some stuff. So thank you guys. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Pluggo and I will see you here next week. You guys know the drill. You know what's coming. Auntie Mary, I love you a lot. I love you a lot. Say hi to Sue for me, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Hi, Sue.
Peace out.
Hi, Sue.
Hey there, Pluggo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. You know, get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Oh, or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans. Watch yourselves. Knock it off.